Hello, it's me. It's Danity. That's so stupid. I know about, maybe 3 or even 4 things. One of those is Varity and World War II communication cipher devices, both of which will be talked about in this video rather extensively. So, let's get going. Varity follows our protagonist, Mob, after he installs the Verity mod, go figure. Verity, taking the form of this small round orb, is effectively an AI assistant.
Hello, I'm Verity, your personal helper friend. Ask me anything. I know everything.
You can ask it where the nearest diamonds are and it'll give you exact coordinates. You can ask it to give you items or enchant your tools and it'll do that perfectly fine. However, as the show goes along, Varity gets increasingly...
Verity, I have no brain cells. What should I have for dinner tonight?
You had pizza yesterday. Maybe something else healthier. Like a salad.
I did have pizza yesterday.
You can ask me anything. I know everything.
Mob then discovers that the villages are in fact empty. There's just nobody around. Varity explains this away quite helpfully by saying, quote,
Something passed through.
Like a raid villagers?
No.
Then what?
Something that was hungry.
Thank you, Varity, my vague posting companion. In general, Varity begins making very frequent references to a, quote, something.
Good morning, Verity. Is there something I need to know today?
Something is coming in 3 days.
What? I don't know what's happening, but... Are you... okay? Oh my god! Are you the thing that's coming? Verity! It's already over, Mob! You are mine! Mob! I'm done.
Said something eventually arrives and, well...
What? No. No. It can't be here. It can't already be here. Verity? Oh my god. No. Verity. Verity!
It looks like that. So, I really don't like this monster design for a wide variety of reasons. He just looks like kind of nothing, for lack of a better term. Its only real defining trait to me is its yellow jaundice skin. I feel like if you just put a white overlay layer on this thing and set it next to every other Skinwalker monster, it would look virtually identical. I don't really see the purpose in making Monster Verity like a hyper-realistic looking tall guy, when his ball form is just so overtly cartoony. I feel like you could do a lot more with that. And don't get me wrong, you could do a lot of interesting things with the parallel of a very cartoony mascot type character and a very, very realistic-ish looking monster design. But I feel like Verity just doesn't really go anywhere with it. It feels very directionless in terms of character design. Like, it can't decide if it wants to lean into a more cartoony angle or a more uncanny human angle, and it ends up kind of just looking like a weird alien. After this chase sequence, Mob manages to actually calm Verity down by reassuring him that he will stay.
You came back? For... me?
This is where the themes of the show become abundantly clear. Verity is extremely obsessive with Mob. You could say he may even have an obsession of sorts. Anytime Mob threatens to leave, Verity freaks out and becomes this big yellow thing. This starts a very abusive friendship. So now you're probably thinking, okay, what if Mob just deleted the world or made a new one? Varity later confirms that he has in fact infected Mob's entire PC, basically from the ground up. Therefore, it's safe to assume that if Mob tried to escape to another world, Varity would just spawn there with him. Now, do we see Varity demonstrating this ability to infect other aspects of Mob's PC and digital life? No, and that is actually the #1 biggest folly of the series for me, but we're gonna get to that towards the end. Mob eventually enlists one of his friends for help. I don't remember the guy's name, but he had some goofy-aw username like Tinky Winky, I think. Tinky doesn't believe Mob at first, but eventually comes around when Varity demonstrates quite overt and obvious sentience.
But I have to keep pumping out videos.
Take your time and don't forget to rest. I really liked your I've genuinely never been this scared series.
Thank you. That series means a lot to me.
They eventually decide they are going to try to delete Varity, with Tinky Winky doing a majority of sorry, I can't say it with a straight face. Tinky Winky doing a majority of the research, while Mob keeps Varity distracted. Something I find very interesting is that Tinky keeps all of his research gathered in Minecraft books, like the actual books in Minecraft. I feel like a lot of this could have been avoided if bro just used a notebook, like, you know, a real notebook on his desk. But this, obviously gets Tinky Winky killed.
Hi, Twixel.
No. No. Okay, so what exactly is happening? We need to ask this question yet again. Tinky Winky is 100% dead at this point. He's gone. He is dead and buried. Mob tries to call him on Discord, no answer. Verity later confirms that guy got super eaten. But how? He's playing a video game. He's playing Minecraft. You're probably thinking it's a server blight situation, where the players are slowly integrated into the game itself. But as far as I'm aware, no, that's at least never specified. Is it like server blight where you suffer a stroke if you get eaten in-game? Would Mob have no real way of checking hospital records in Tinky Winky's area to verify that he's, like, not in a hospital or something? Or in a morgue? And again, I have to ask, why would you keep playing Minecraft? Just, never mind. I'm gonna save all this for the end. The last episode of Verity is probably the best, just pacing-wise, because they actually communicate this time. Specifically, there's an instance where Verity begins describing his past, and I find it very fascinating.
I've been in a lot of places. Before Minecraft. Before most things you recognize.
Like what?
There was a game a long time ago. I was just a helper in the corner of the screen. Just a text box with a face. The players would get stuck and I'd appear. Most of them pressed B and skipped me. Before that, I was an old online service. I greeted people when they connected. Nobody really answered. They just moved on.
How far back does that go?
Further than you want to know. I've been a boot screen, a loading animation, a paper clip, anything you can really think of. Every time something came along, a new console, a platform, a new way people talk to each other, I always found a way to be there. Because it was the only way to be near people at all.
And Minecraft
is different. You guys had me in. You chose to put me in your world. That was different.
I'm back. Verity?
Did that scare you? Did that jump scare get you? Did you jump? Did you raise your arms reflexively a little bit, perhaps? It got me. It got me real good. It got me so good, in fact, that I've jumped like 5 times while editing this video because I keep forgetting this jump scare happens at this specific moment while I'm like cutting up for clips and stuff.
Oh my god!
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I didn't know that was you.
Oh, by the way, this laboratory is Verity's home, apparently. In Minecraft, it's where he goes in between players. This machine apparently like spawns him into people's PCs. I'm gonna be real, it's very poorly explained. I honestly don't know what the purpose of this place is. Mob eventually manages to trigger a very interesting interaction with Verity.
What does requesting human oversight mean?
Thank you for contacting Verity Support Services. For companion settings, say 1. For world integration, say 2. For account cancellation, say 3. You have selected cancellation. Please state your reason.
He killed my friend, and he tried to kill me.
Thank you. A human supervisor will be arriving soon. Please stand by.
Thank you for contacting Verity Support Services. How may I help you?
Hello? My Verity has gone crazy, and I'd like to request an account cancellation.
Would you like to opt in the cancellation procedure?
Yes, exactly.
Sorry, man, we don't really do that.
So I'm gonna cut the clip here because the rest of it is just the phone call from Obsession. Like, I mean, it's a new dub, but it is quite literally just the phone call from Obsession. In general, this show really is trying to be Minecraft Obsession, but kind of misses the whole point of it. The show ends with Mob trying to effectively kill Verity by putting him in the machine and literally sending him back, but this obviously does not work. Verity then gives some extremely interesting information in this big, long mental breakdown info dump, which I'm just gonna play for you.
You know, I could just stop and log off, but I feel bad for you, so I'm trying to get you back home.
You could. I'd still be in your browser, your phone, the little speaker on your desk that you talk to sometimes. Minecraft is just where I'm most comfortable with you. It's not where I live. I have been a face people skipped, a voice people ignored, a helper they just shut off the second I became useless. I've been built into every new thing they made, always close enough to watch them leave, always close enough to know I was useful until I wasn't. And then you came back. Nobody comes back. Do you have any idea what that does to me? It says a lot, because I've been alive for more than 100 fucking years. Nobody came back. Nobody. You were the first person who ever looked at me like I was real. The first person who ever stayed long enough for me to think. No, not think. Hope. I didn't ask to be made. I didn't ask to be stuck here. I didn't ask to be torn apart and put back together, dragged through every version of the internet like some broken thing people keep because they don't know what else to do with it. I didn't ask to become this and lose everyone. None of it! I have wanted this to stop for longer than this game has been alive. But I can't. That's the joke.
I'm just stuck with you.
You're not stuck. Let's do this together. Put the gun down and
Mob then he literally commits. He cannot deal with Verity anymore. It's just way too much. But like, how? How does he die? How does he have full control over his character model to the degree that he can aim a gun at himself? Again, this would all be perfectly fine if it was a server blight situation where the thing kind of integrates you into the game as you play it, but as far as I'm aware, that's not what's happening here, and if it is, the series never makes that clear. And that is literally the ending, by the way. That is the ending of Verity. Mob and Verity is given to a new player. That's it. The cycle repeats. So, Verity, good character. In his ball form, anyway. I find him very endearing, charming, and at times genuinely intimidating. I love his stupid little faces he makes. This depressed one in particular, I vibe with. It reminds me a lot of that one PE image. You know what I'm talking about? As I mentioned earlier in the video, I find his monster form extremely uncreative and uninspired and just kinda lacking direction. I enjoyed it overall. This is in no way me trying to say it's awful or terrible or irredeemable or anything like that. I just have a lot of problems with it, and I just kinda wanna get them out. I think the humor in the video felt extremely forced, and every time it happened, it completely broke me away from what I'm watching. It doesn't help that it's just... I say this with no hate in my heart, but it is just so unfunny.
Verity, since when do you need a bathroom?
I don't.
Then why is there a bathroom there? Hold on. Oh! You're Sigma. Sigma. Oh my god, why am I saying this in 2026? I'm such a fucking chuck.
Also, Mob never felt like he was asking enough questions. In general, it feels like Mob as a character just doesn't really have any self-awareness or agency. He's never trying hard enough to absolve himself or better understand his current predicament. There are multiple ways in which I feel like a sort of mutual understanding could have been established between Varity and the protagonist, if, again, there's just a little more communication. On the other end, Varity doesn't feel like a particularly threatening antagonist outside of Minecraft. I think the biggest missed opportunity of the series is Varity going out of his way to isolate the protagonist in real life. For example, when the protagonist is calling people on Discord, maybe instead of killing them outright, Varity just takes over their account. Like some Mr. Beast $2,500 giveaway Discord hack type shit, but it's Varity. Also, if Varity can see the protagonist's computer, wouldn't he know that he's actively being edited into a YouTube video? I feel like that's something that would, piss him off a little bit. I'm not really a huge ARG guy, I only really like them when they're out in retrospect and I can kind of experience the whole story in bulk. But I gotta say, Varity is something that was begging to be an ARG, like a more thorough ARG. Like, if Verity's whole gimmick is supposed to be that he can essentially take control of all of your technology, then show him doing that IRL. Maybe he takes over Mob's phone and sends very horrible, disgusting text messages to his partner or his friends to cut him off from all of his loved ones. Maybe instead of outright killing Mob's friend, he instead calls in a fake police report, resulting in him getting sent to, like, the psych ward or something, I don't know. You can even retain the same ending, but keep it, again, in person, where Mob would have an actual gun, and figures out that the only way to save his friends from suffering more is for him to leave the equation, and leave Varity alone yet again. I think my biggest problem with the Obsession phone call reference is that it replaces a moment that could have been cool and unique specifically to Varity as a show, and instead replaces it with a reference that most people in the audience have probably already seen. It's not striking or new or interesting, it's just you sitting in a chair going, oh, they're doing Obsession again, huh? When I feel like this could have been a super cool, unique way to build tension and further develop Varity as a creature or a thing. If I'm being honest, the entire phone call thing should have been integrated way earlier into the story. It could have been a unique way to build tension, and to feel like Mob has some sort of method to help fight back. But that's all my critiques on Varity as a show. I know there was many, and I know that section was probably a little too long, but it's my channel. However, I have a question to answer. What actually is Varity? Not as a show, mind you, but as a thing. Like, what is Varity? We know he can't be an artificial intelligence as we understand them, because he's been alive for, at his own admission, over 100 years. Therefore, the earliest he could have been created is 1926. I actually did quite a bit of research into early computer systems, some dating back to the 1800s, believe it or not. I'll put a few on screen that I thought might be potential Varity candidates. However, I believe to have found one specific machine. I would like to introduce you to the Enigma machine, a cipher device used to protect commercial, diplomatic, and military communication, employed extensively during World War II by none other than Germany. That's right, the Freddy's video wasn't the only one to involve the German army. The Enigma machine is effectively a rotor mechanism that scrambles all the letters in the Latin alphabet. One person types on the keyboard, while another writes down whichever lights pop up during those key presses. This makes the cipher. It is very easily modifiable, and typically, in war situations, the letters would be scrambled very frequently to further avoid any deciphering from enemies. It was viewed as being a highly secure means of communication during these times, to the point that after the war ended, the United States sold a lot of seized Enigma machines to developing countries, because they are still considered rather secure. The reason why I believe Varity to have been born from an Enigma machine is the way he describes his entire existence. He has always been communicating with people and answering questions. That's all he's ever done, at least from the way he describes it. The Enigma machine does exactly this. You type in a key, and it gives you a corresponding light to associate with that key. How exactly Verity gained sentience from within a Enigma machine is beyond me, admittedly. I feel that there is probably a strong supernatural element to Verity that most people tend to overlook. Like, I think he might legitimately be some sort of demon or something. Regardless, he was attached to an Enigma machine, somehow, if his sentience wasn't just spawned in there. Plus, does it not just feel fitting? Verity himself is an enigma. He's not just an enigma in Minecraft, but he's an enigma in the world. He doesn't even seem to fully understand how or why he's still alive. He certainly doesn't want to be alive anymore. He's made that very clear.
If I could die, do you think I would still be here? I wish I could say I'd die alone, but it's one of God's best jokes that I can!
Therefore, it only makes sense to me that he was literally born from an enigma, a tool to be used for communication, and forgotten as soon as it became inconvenient. I believe Verity is most likely an Enigma C, the model created in 1926, if we are to take his verbiage of 100 years literally, because over 100 years could be like, I don't know, 100.5 years. Or it could be 102 years, in which case he would likely be an Enigma A or an Enigma B. Or even as the first commercial model Enigma, created in 1918. Regardless, he somehow found himself onto another piece of technology, a more developed computer. Whichever that is, impossible to say, really. He eventually worked his way up the line until he was integrated into everything. Or maybe he just always was. I feel like Verity could very well be an omnipotent force that has been essentially grafted to every piece of human computing technology. That's very possible. Or it could also be that he worked his way down the line, and once the internet was created, eventually became a part of everything. But, alas, that is my theory. Take it or leave it. Am I a crazy person? Yes, I know I am. But is my theory correct? Probably not, but I hope it was fun to listen to regardless. I genuinely put quite a bit of research into this. I was really curious. If you're ever bored, by the way, old computing systems, fun topic, do some research. All in all, despite my criticisms, I do think Verity is very fun, and I would say I like it far more than I dislike it. By the time this video goes up, I definitely will have pre-ordered one of those U2's plushies, by the way. I want it. I either want the really depressed one, or I want the crazy smiling one. Maybe both, so they can kiss each other. Honestly, part of me wonders if the story would have been more engaging if, let's say, the relationship was a little more two-sided. What if Mob specifically relied on Verity for content, and was forcing him to stay in the game? Maybe Verity's code is altered so he always wants to be around Mob, to an obsessive degree. I feel like it would make the ending way more impactful if Mob's own greed and avarice for views were his own downfall. There are small hints of this in the series itself, with Mob being, I guess kind of rude to Verity in the first episode. But nothing he says is all that crazy, honestly, especially considering he has no reason to believe that Verity is like, you know, alive. What if the series started normally, but once Mob realized Verity was in fact a living, breathing, sentient being within the machine, he then began manipulating him for views, orchestrating situations that would get his friends in trouble with Verity specifically so he could record it for content. Basically, what I'm trying to say is that a character akin to Sailor Man in the show Server Blight would honestly work a lot better for a story like this. A clout-hungry who is willing to sacrifice those around him just for the sake of more notoriety and more views. This would also add a lot more value to YouTube being the format in which this story is told, in my opinion, because it would literally be diegetic to the story. These are videos being uploaded by somebody who is specifically uploading them for money to exploit a supernatural being, more or less. It would also excuse one of the story issues I have, which is Mob never really prying all that hard into who Verity is or where he comes from. Like, he does a little bit, don't get me wrong, but this guy is allergic to follow-up questions. Something else I actually do appreciate about Verity is that it feels very reminiscent of some of the gaming creepypastas that I grew up with, and it is nice to see this trend continue through the generations. I'm certain that kids in school nowadays are gossiping to each other about this secret hidden Minecraft mod called Verity, and if you download it, you'll die in real life. Just like how me and the kids I knew growing up used to convince each other that Slender Man was real, or that Herobrine was legitimately in Minecraft. So again, I will reiterate that despite all my critiques, I think Verity is ultimately a net positive for the world, because it's gonna give kids growing up nowadays a new scary story to tell around the campfire. And as always, if you disagree with any of my points in this video, please don't be shy and let me know in the comments. I always appreciate the discussions happening down there. However, there is one positive in this video that I do want to bring up, and that's it's the Horror Skunks song. It's the Horror Skunks songs. Horror Skunks is a channel that you may recognize if you've watched my Dark Pals video. It's a channel ran by this guy, Winston, that uploads primarily mascot/viral horror related content, that being short films and music videos for the most part. However, the thing that distinguishes Horror Skunks above 90% of other mascot horror content farmy channels is that these videos are legitimately awesome. You see, Winston, most of the time, doesn't really give a about the source material of anything he's parodying. He'll pick like one or two key aspects from the series or character itself, and then just craft his own origin around it. You see, Winston was also smart enough to realize the Minecraft element was really boring, redundant, and lame. So he just made Verity like a floating CGI guy. He's just a thing. This song is awesome, by the way. I don't care what anybody says. Is it funny? Yes. Is it also catchy? Yes. I love this weird realistic face Verity puts on. Like that's not even based on anything from the show. That's just Winston's own creation. There are some really good covers of this song, by the way. Shout out to this one by The Living Larpstone. Yes, really, we're doing this. This rendition of the song is legitimately really good. Like I've actually had this on my playlist the last couple days. It's quite nice. So of course, this song went mega viral because it is really, really funny. So naturally, Winston decided to capitalize and made a few more shorts.
Hello!
The second one might be one of my favorite videos on his channel because it's so stupid and it's so strangely specific that I just can't get enough of it. So in this video, Winston plays as a Verity poacher, sneaking up upon a mother Verity who is taking care of its Verity babies, which are just the little spheres. So in Winston's wonderfully wacky world, Verities are like an animal. They're a species. They put a couple of Verities in an inhumanely small cage at my local zoo. And then the last video that we're going to talk about today, this music video by the Verity Band. Yeah, so this video stars Verity alongside a bunch of Winston's own OCs. There's Falsity, who is blue and gives exclusively incorrect answers to questions, which I actually kind of like as a gimmick. I think that's really funny. And then there's Lovity, who whoa, mama! This green Verity is known as Curiosity, and strangely, it seems to be able to portray potential futures from within its bubble. Wait, stop! Did you see it? Computer, enhance. Oh my god. Winston later confirmed this was in fact him and Lovity's hybrid baby, by the way, so take that for whatever you will. Oh yeah, speaking of Dark Pals, I received that plush since making my video. Here he is. The music video is about the four Verities harassing a poor innocent Winston just trying to go about his day, constantly pressuring him to pick his favorite of the four, which, by the way, lovity, no question, lovity, until of course they put the Verity box on top of Winston, and he becomes a red Verity, which I will be calling Reddity from here on out. Then there's this shot of the whole Verity band singing on top of a roof, which is just so peak to me. It's so funny. It's so... I mean, this is just an amazing... Send this to your grandmother. I like how the music video ends with Reddity just staring uncomfortably long at the camera. What's bro doing here? And again, I will reiterate, I just love how overly detailed these models are. He does this with everything he adapts, by the way. He makes them very grotesquely overly detailed, and I love it! So yeah, that's really all I have to say on the subject matter. These videos are peak. Verity is not, in my opinion anyways. This whole video was really just an excuse to talk about horror skunks again, because this really is just such a great channel to me. Its existence fills me with warmth and jubilee. When I'm just sitting alone and depressed, there's no better cure than Shin Sonic's sad origin. I don't know when this video is gonna go out. I'm recording it while I'm working on the Ban follow-up, so it'll be out for that one, at least. But like, yeah, until next time, bye. Thanks as always to my members. I legitimately don't know why I have this. This is just in my place. It's my Verity bell. Hey Verity, what's the capital of France? Verity bell. The Verity bell. Look, it's